I think that I just found you your next motorcycle. It's coming up, Fast Lane. Hey guys, welcome to Fast Lane. Yes, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the all-new, just released from production. So excited about this. I did not see this coming so quickly. The Shotgun 650 from Royal Enfield. Let's check it out. So why does Royal Enfield need another bike in their lineup? I mean, they've got the Super Meteor 650, they've got the Classic 350, they've got the Himalayan, they got the Scram, they got the Meteor 350. What else do they have? The INT 650, the Continental. There's a number of bikes there that are the Hunter 350. They're really, really sweet, but what are they missing? Well, I think it's pretty obvious when you really look at it, because the Hunter 350 even is kind of a commuter, almost scrambler-ish bike, but what Royal Enfield does not have, well, they didn't have, and now they do, is essentially kind of a bobber bike. Now, that term is kind of thrown around, and that might be a little bit of a loose term sometimes, but I think we can look at this bike. We can look at the Shotgun 650 and definitely see it's got a bobbed rear fender. It's got low bars, okay? It's got that floating bobber seat, a smaller tank. Can anybody say Harley 48? I mean, this thing, when you look at it from a distance, and I'm not saying Royal Enfield copied anybody because they've been around longer than anybody in continuous production. Bravo to you guys, by the way. But when you just kind of glance at this thing, you almost think you're looking at the last generation of like a Harley 48. And I absolutely think that's a great thing, because I'm not sure what the HE double hockey sticks Harley is doing, but as I've talked before, and you know, and I love HarleyDavidson, but I'm going to speak the truth at the same time. Harley's missing the mark when it comes to the smaller bike market. They're just absolutely missing the mark. They've let go of the Sportster line. Essentially, they got the new Sportster S, which is nothing like the old Sportster. They now have the Nightster, which also is so much more forward thinking on so many things. It just doesn't have that classic vibe to it like you'd want a bobber to look like. Also, I'm sorry, but that engine on the Nightster, and I'm just really gonna go for it here for a minute, so please forgive me. It's a complete disaster. The look on the exhaust side, the right-hand side of the bike, looks beautiful, okay? But when you look at, and you turn the bike around, and if you haven't done it, all the marketing is on the exhaust side of the bike, on the Nightster, okay? Go to the other side. It's a complete catastrophe. There's wires and things just going every direction. And Harley, come on. We want these bikes, and we want them to look beautiful. That's part of the draw. So here's the deal. Royal Enfield is absolutely genius because they see a vacancy within the market, and man, they're going to jump on it. And not only are they going to jump on it, but they're going to do it at such a better price point. Listen, we're living in a day and age where people are struggling financially. And to go out and buy a $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 motorcycle, just for a lot of people, is completely out of the question. It's just not going to happen, all right? So they're going to end up getting a used bike, some old bike, whatever. They're not going to go out and buy a brand new bike. These bikes, I'm talking the Super Meteor 650, the INT, now the Shotgun 650, these things are coming in at like $7,500, $8,000. People are walking out the door with these bikes. Yeah, man, it's like you can buy two of these things for the price of some of these lower end Harleys. So I may be slightly partial because I absolutely love, as you can see here, I love bobber style motorcycles. They're a passion of mine. They're one of my favorite things. This is the Indian Scout Bobber right here, and I think it's absolutely beautiful, okay? When I look at this bike, it draws me in. It absolutely makes me go, that is a really, really cool looking bike, and I've ridden the Super Meteor 650 now, and I know what this bike is essentially gonna be like in a lot of ways. Now, there are some subtle differences we'll talk about here in a minute, but I can tell you, for like $7,500, it's a deal, and it's an absolutely gorgeous and a really, really cool bike, and it's a cool starting point just to get you rolling, and you can customize it further down the road. And here's the thing. A lot of people don't have a lot of skills when it comes to customizing motorcycles, okay? Or, I guess we could call it accessorizing even, People want to make their bikes look cool, and they want them to look unique. This is kind of an out-the-door package, much like the Harley 48 was. The fender's already bobbed, okay? The Scout Bobber, same deal. The fender's already bobbed, smaller fenders, fatter tires, bobber seat, lower handlebars, whatever. It's already a great starting point, or it's a point where someone could just get into that look without really having to do anything to their bike. And I don't think it's any secret that, man, I am a fan of Royal Enfield because of the price point, because the bikes have a 3-year warranty. 3-year warranty on these motorcycles. I mean, it's like the Hyundai of motorcycles. And you can actually work on these bikes yourself. They're so basic in the design. They're so kind of old school in a lot of ways in the design that you can do the maintenance yourself. You can do it all yourself. In fact, Royal Enfield even has a number of videos telling you how to maintain their bikes. Everything from an oil change, spark plug change, air filter, changing out, adjusting the chain, taking off the wheels, changing headlight bulbs. There's a whole series on the 350 line, and I'm sure there's going to be a series on these as well. So I absolutely think that Royal Enfield is super smart. They're super smart because they have said, I see a need in the market where Harley they've just left, it's like watching sports and somebody's just wide open and you just move in for the touchdown, Boom! Royal Enfield has absolutely seen the opening, they've seen their opportunity, and they have run hard for the finish line, and they're gonna win.
Trying to do something here with Christian McCaffrey. Got a bruising block from Brandon Ayuk. Got another from Ray McLeod. Turned it into a touchdown. It's a 65-yard lightning strike from McCaffrey.
Royal Enfield has basically said they are going to be the #1 motorcycle company in the entire world. And I'm here to tell you, they're not far from doing it. Now, if you disagree with anything I said, comment below. And while we're on the subject, would you do me a quick favor? If you like this kind of content, and I sure hope you do, I enjoy doing this stuff, and I hope that you're watching because you enjoy it. Would you give me a big like, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you would, and then share it with your friends. Help these videos go all around the world, and I do mean all around the world. I talk to people all the time from all across the world. Some of them I can't even understand what they're saying, but I got to get the little translator, If you do that for me, I'd super appreciate it. All right, enough of the salesman stuff. Let's get back to business. So when it comes to bobber motorcycles, there's a lot of choices, right? There's all kinds of companies making these bikes. I mean, you've got the Indian Scout Bobber, right? And the Scout Bobber 60. Those bikes are coming in at about almost like $14,000 for the Scout Bobber and somewhere around $12,000 for the Scout Bobber 60. So that's not cheap. Then we can go up within the Indian line to like the Chief Bobber. I mean, that sucker's pushing like $16,000. Then, of course, I hate to even have to mention it, but the Harley Nightster, that sucker's right around like $13,500. And we really won't even mention the Sportster S because it's such a different bike. I don't even think that's worth mentioning. But we do have the Softail Standard within the Harley line, and I think that's around like $14,500, somewhere in there. And of course, Triumph's got the Bonneville Bobber, which, I mean, a lot of these bikes are really, really cool looking. But that sucker's coming in right near $14,000. And you may not be aware of this one, but the new BMW R12, they're presuming that one, and it's a pretty cool bike actually, but that's gonna come in at about $12,000 to $13,000. All right, so when we're talking about these bikes, we're obviously talking about you know, somewhat bigger engine, more horsepower. I mean, some of these bikes are anywhere from like 1,000 to probably like 1,200 cc's. So we're pushing anywhere from like 70 to, you know, like 100 horsepower on these things. So if that's actually, you know, what you're looking for and you just want that horsepower and that torque and all that stuff, yeah, you're gonna have to spend some more money on that. You're not gonna fully get that with the Royal Enfield Shotgun or the Super Meteor 650. But if you're looking for maybe more that mid-size cruiser, bobber, you know, with a little less horsepower, still gonna look really cool, gonna be a lot easier on the budget actually. I mean, we're talking like, dude, we're talking like almost half price for some of these bikes. I mean, dang, dude, when I look at Royal Enfield, I think I could have a garage full of them for the price of some of these Harleys. So let's talk about what the Shotgun exactly provides. So it is slightly different than the Super Meteor 650. You've got essentially a lower fork height in the front, and then the rear has actually been raised and it has like 20 millimeters more of travel. Things that are the same as the Super Meteor are of course the Showa front forks, ABS, you get that USB port with these bikes. I mean, these things are standard. You do actually get a taller seat, however, with the Shotgun, which I think is like 31.1 inches. You also get an 18-inch front tire, 17-inch rear tire, as opposed to the 1916 combo that you get on the Super Meteor. And these bikes also come with steel braided brake lines. I mean, that's pretty cool. You've got a curb weight of about 529 pounds and dual shocks in the rear. So with the Super Meteor as well as with the Shotgun 650, you are definitely getting a smaller engine compared to some of these other bobbers I've talked about. So you're gonna get a 648 cc engine with 46.4 horsepower at about 7,200 RPMs and 38.6 foot of torque at 5,650 RPMs. It is, of course, a 6-speed bike, the same as the Super Meteor 650. And I gotta say, man, I think that's plenty of power. I actually do. I think it's enough power to get you down the highway, to commute on, or to travel long distances on. It's very solid. It's a very stable feeling bike. But let's face it, that's not what people are buying bobbers for. I mean, I realize they're not calling this thing a bobber, okay? And, you know, some people may argue that it is or it's not. It looks like a bobber to me, all right? Bobbers are essentially for like commuting, bar hopping, bopping around town and just having a good time on. You know, most people aren't thinking of a bobber about like going across the country. And very similar to the Harley 48, this bike's got a smaller tank than the Super Meteor 650. Other things that are really cool about this bike, as opposed, you know, just different, I shouldn't say cooler, but they're totally blacked out. The engine is completely blacked out, including the exhaust. They've got a lower kind of I would call it almost like a tracker style handlebar, which I think is actually a little bit slimmer as well. And of course, it's got bar end mirrors that come standard, so that's pretty cool. I gotta say, guys, I am just absolutely super, super excited about this bike coming out. And when I watched the video and I watched the release of all the new colors and everything, and I absolutely love the one that they released at Motoverse. You know, they had like 25 of those that they released that people could get a hold of early. I kind of wish they were making that color as well, but they're not. But some of these new colorways are really, really cool. And I mean, I honestly, watching that video, I was like, yes, I think I know the bike that I want to get when I get a second bike. Anyways, I am just super excited about this bike. The Shotgun 650 from Royal Enfield. Bravo, guys. You guys are geniuses, okay? I mean, you're seeing what the market needs and you're moving right in to the space, and I applaud you for it. I so want to thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. If you agree, comment below. What do you think of the new Shotgun 650? Do you think it outdoes the Super Meteor? Do you think I'm totally off base? Do you think it looks nothing like a Harley-Davidson? Do you think it looks totally like a Harley? Is it a bobber or is it not? Comment below, let me know what you think. Let me know what you're riding, and let me know what part of the world that you're commenting from I'd love to chit chat and hang out. And hey, if you're ever in the United States and you're up here in Oregon sometime, let's go out, let's get a beer, let's have a good time. All right? Until next time, I'll see ya. Get out there and ride. It's fast lane.